Dude, yeah. The inspiration for these cracked guitars with this kind of design, is it related to Spider-Man or not at all?
Dude, it's a mix of two things.
But was there anything related to Spider-Man?
No, that's not it. It was like this, you know. And I joined Tajima in 2000, right? So what happened? One day, I came in and said back then to Cease, you know, Cease, I wanted something different. I wanted to have a visual identity, you know? So I have a golden guitar, which even Mateus likes a lot. He says to me, dude, one day you should launch a line like that because I played a lot with it. With this guitar, a kind of aged gold, which I still want to make, I thought it was really beautiful.
What's the guitar brand?
Gima ya Gima.
But you never got to release a prototype?
No, I was still thinking, you know.
And did you do the show? Did you make the DVD?
No, not the DVD, but I did several shows with it and it stayed in the United States. This guitar, things I regret. Dude, but it's with you. I recorded, for example, there are several solos from Humanos that I recorded. With this guitar, can I share the sadness here? I was in the United States doing a tour there. And then a guy came up to me and said, hey man, sell me that guitar, dude. That guitar sounds amazing. I want that guitar for myself. I even feel like crying. So I said, I'm selling it, man. I'm selling it. No, I'm not selling it. I said, no, I'm not selling it. He said, come on, sell it, man. Sell it and stuff. So you bought something here. So at that time, the PlayStation 2 had just been released.
No way. You sold it and bought the PlayStation 2. It's like that game they have on talent shows. Do you want to trade your Ferrari for the Charvel? Yes.
Dude, it's sad, man. I did that and I don't even know who has it now. No, man, no. And here I am, even today, right? I say, dude, how did I go and do something like that? You know that momentary insanity after you do something? I was like, wow, I shouldn't have done that, you know? Because in my head I thought, oh, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to take it to my son. Dude, man, it was insanity. There's no other explanation. It was a momentary insanity and I sold that guitar. But to sum it up, I used to use that golden one. So we started testing some colors. And one day, they were doing a paint test with reagents. And there was a piece of wood that almost cracked.
And you thought it was cool.
So I said, is this cool, this? I like it because I had seen it in a very old American guitar player magazine, A Reminder of the Rama, by Hammer. I remember I had seen a hammer that had a similar effect, but I said, dude, this is cool. I wanted something like that.
Who used Hammer again? The Tomato guys used it?
Tomato used it. Tomato used it. But the people just waited. No. And then I remember seeing that guy with the cool gear and I said, wow, man, I wanted that. Yeah, I wanted it. And then it was a mix of things. It has to do with Spider-Man, which I thought was totally related, right? Spider-Man is white with red. Yeah. It ended up looking like Ed Van Halen. I really like Ed Van Halen. But initially it wasn't something I was thinking about. It was the opposite. Wow, it kind of reminds me of Ed's guitar, man. Wow, going to change the color. It was actually the opposite. Like, I'm even going to change it. That repelled, yeah, in a way. But since I'm also a fan of the guy, I'll own up to it. So it was a mix of Spider-Man with Ed Van Halen. And also this thing about identity. I wanted something that had an identity. That's how the crackle finish was born.
This has been around for 25 years already.
Over 20 years? Yeah, it didn't happen right away. I think the crackle finish really came in 2022.
All right. 22 years. Do you have any idea how many of these guitars you've sold?
I don't know, but based on what Tajima says, a lot.
No, I know best-selling guitar is Tajima. Of the signature models, this one is yours. No idea. Do you know, but wouldn't it be cool to try to understand that one day? To know how many are out there circulating in Brazil and around the world, right? Because actually it's still selling, right? Doo-doo.
Keep going. And every time I arrive somewhere in the United States, some church, and there's a guy playing, I send a little photo to Nay, and here's another one.
And here's the thing, man, it's funny that it has a more modern, flatter guitar neck, right?
Yeah. It's not a specification that I asked for. I'll talk about that later. So, hey, one thing that happens to me personally is the neck. The neck's radius, not the angle, the radius of the neck. It's actually pretty big, right? It's pretty oval shaped, right? Let's put it this way. A simpler way to put it, it's pretty oval shaped. So that's cool. It's cool. But for those who like a lower action, that's a problem. Because when you lower it, you lower the bridge in the corners, right? The mizao and the mizao are going to sound nice. In the middle, it's going to buzz all over. So I asked the defense, make the fretboard a little flatter, not completely flat like a classical guitar, but a little flatter. Automatically the goto, it is the goto in the model that comes, same arm angle, because there are also lever models, which are more rounded or less rounded. So all my guitars will have this characteristic. The necks are slightly a little flatter. And this definitely benefits you if you like to play with a slightly lower action. It's more comfortable, not too low. Because I do a lot of bends, right? I use the bending technique a lot. So if you also set it too low, that bend you do, the note just dies out.
This one, by the way, has the string set pretty low. It should be pretty close to what you use, right?
Possibly. Let me take a look. No, this one is even lower than what I use. It's even lower, right?
It's even a bit raspy. Okay, I use it a little higher. And it's kind of like this. For the folks who might be thinking, I think it's really in line with the Ibanez RGs there. What kind of neck is it, right?
Rama, I definitely think so. Back then, one of my key references was also Charvel.
I got it.
Yeah, I remember Charvel because of the neck. I had one. The one I recorded Indifferenza with is a Charvel, a solid model, right? 24 frets, it's a solid body. It doesn't have, the neck isn't bolted on. And it has this flatter fretboard, right? So it was. I think it might have been a trigger for me, like, Zaga, I wanted an arm more like this, but I think it has a lot to do with Charvel.
Okay, and it's, because it's a neck, it's more, is it wider? Do you feel it as if it's wider? Compared to a regular small cutaway like that?
You're talking about the width, right? Yes, yes. Initially, we did that standard, which is 21. 21 and a half, right? I don't remember the numbers, as usual. I don't even remember the name. I'll remember the number. It's like the biblical text where I say, man, I can recite the text, but the reference.
Yeah, I never. I think the mental process in our heads is kind of similar. It's Alzheimer's. It's Alzheimer's. Yeah. Dude, I remember the verse, but I never know it either.
I'm going to share a good one here. Then I'll get back to the topic. Dude, one thing I do all the time, sometimes I go to preach somewhere in some church. I mess up the pastor's name all the time. So an example, go ahead. I get to the end and I say, I want to call the pastor up here. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Marcelo. And the pastor hears everything. So, but it's Mauricio, you see, Juninho. So I already have several jokes up my sleeve. Yeah, but you look like a Marcelo. So when I take it, my wife saves me. So I say it like this. So Pastor Marcelo, then she.
No.
Then I change it right away.
You say like this, we took it here with the pastor, president, who is a great president, pastor.
Or we use that trick. Hey, there, my old friend. How are you doing, my brother? Hey there, man. Then don't say the name and everything's fine. But going back to the arm measurement. Yeah, brother, it became brother. But going back to the arm, I tried that pattern, which is a little narrower, right? That's what the bend uses, by the way, right? That pattern that many guitars without a whammy bar use. So my jatri, the whammy bar isn't with Floyd. The neck is a little narrower, so I use both. Juninho, do you like more? It doesn't matter to me. Sometimes for that more rapid side, I prefer this wider one a bit.
Yeah, because, well, this guitar here, you can feel that it's a guitar with a modern neck.
Exactly.
For the shred crowd, right?
And that was the idea, to make a modern guitar. Why? If you take it, sir, that's it. It has that classic effect, but it's a modern guitar, stainless steel frets. It's comfortable to play.
Yeah, so that's the feeling that people are going to have